Good day everyone. My assigned topic is all about mangrove crab or the scientific name Scylla serrata. The biology, the taxonomic classification. It belongs to the kingdom Animalia, phylum Arthropoda, class Malacostraca, order Decapoda, family Protonidae, genus Scylla, species Scylla serrata. The characteristics. Scylla serrata is commonly known as the mud crab, green crab or mangrove crab, locally known as alimango. They are semi-terrestrial, meaning they live both in the sea and on the land. They are slow-growing, hinay nga nagtubo, and long-lived, taas nga kinagbuhi. They have been known to live for more than 10 years. These crabs have a curved-over shell or carapace that is slightly egg-shaped that can vary from blue to yellow in color. They have 8 pinkish legs and 2 long pincers. They have broad teeth on each anterolateral margin, all of them with similar size and projecting obliquely outwards. Average shell width of mud crab is up to 24 cm, and they can grow up to 3.5 kg live body weight. Then, the anatomy of a mud crab. Nadiya ang carapace or katong shell, ang chelipid katong iyang mga paak, tong anterolateral teeth katong na ng isig kilid nga mura ngipon. Then, abdominal segment na sa ilawom. Then, next is the ecology. A study on tidal flats in Deception Bay in Queensland found juvenile crabs katong nag-weight of 20 to 99 mm or 0.8 to 3.9 in carapace width were resident in a mangrove zone, remaining there during low tide katong naara sa mga mangrove nag-remain raw during sa low tide, while ang sub-adults or tong 100 to 149 mm or 3.9 to 5.9 inches migrated into intertidal zone. Mubalhin sa intertidal zone para mangita og kanonon at high tide and retreated to subtidal waters at low tide. Then mo atras na sad inig makuha na mahunas. Then ang adults 150 to 150 mm or 5.9 inches and larger were caught mainly below the low tide mark, with small numbers captured in the intertidal zone at high tide. These crabs are highly cannibalistic in nature katong mukaon og unod nga parihan niya the same kind niya. When crabs undergo molting ang iyang pagluno, other shelled ones sometimes attack the molting crabs and devour them. The females can give birth to 1 million offspring, which can grow up to 3.5 kg or 7.7 pounds in size and have a shell width of up to 24 cm or 9.4 inches in wide. Then the distribution. The natural range of Scylla serrata is in the Indo-Pacific. It is found from South Africa around the coast of the Indian Ocean, where it is especially abundant in Sri Lanka to the Southeast Asian archipelago, as well as from southern Japan to southeastern Australia, northern New Zealand, and as far east of Fiji and Samoa. The species has also been introduced to Hawaii and Florida. In Hawaii, mud crabs are colloquially known as Samoan crabs as they were originally imported from American Samoa. As these crabs are known for this robust size and dense meat content kanang siksik ang iyang unod, they have been greatly sought katong gipangita ni siya after over the years. As a result of overcrowding, local government efforts have restricted harvesting of crabs smaller than 6 inches with a crossback, and it is illegal to harvest females of any size. As a result kuno of overcrowding, ang local government mato nag-restrict or pag-harvest og mga crabs smaller than 6 inches o gi-illegal na ang pagkuha sa mga baji nga kasag nga in any size. Then, the life cycle of the mud crab. Zoea, a mud crab begins life as a larva called a zoea, which hatches from an egg. It is about 1 millimeter long, has undeveloped limbs, and floats with the plankton. Katong magkauban na rin siya maglutaw-lutaw sa mga plankton. Then next is the megalopae. A zoea grows by molting, shedding its shell 4 times over 12 to 15 days. During the 5th molt, it transforms into a megalopa, which has functional claws, katong nanay na mga kuyamoy. After a week or so, it moves inshore and settles to the seabed. After a few days, it molts into a stage 1 juvenile crab. Then next is the juvenile crab, katong a miniature version of the adult, katong mga batanon, katong mga bata-bata pa nga mga kasag. It is about 4 millimeter wide. About a month after hatching, when 10 to 20 millimeter wide, it moves to an estuary and settles in a sheltered area. Then next is the young adult. The crab reaches sexual maturity at 18 to 24 months. Then, mating, pagminyo ko ng hay. In the warmer months, ting-init, mature females release a pheromone, katong na ay chemical attractant, into the water to attract males. Once paired, the male climbs on the top of the female, claps her with his hind legs, picks her up and carries her around for up to 4 days. He releases her when she begins to molt, and after she has shed her shell, he returns her upside down to mate. He deposits a capsule of sperm inside her reproductive opening, where it's stored for months until her developing ova or katong eggs are ready to be fertilized. After mating, the male flips the female upright and holds her under him for a few more days while her shell hardens. Then next is the spawning and hatching. Itong yung pagpangitlog. The female migrates offshore to spawn. Ang baji mo balhin sa offshore para mangitlog. The fertilized eggs are released in batches of 2 to 5 million. After digging a hole in the sand or mud with her abdominal flap, the female releases her eggs into it. Using her swimming legs, she gathers the eggs up to carry them under her abdomen. Ibutang niya kanang sa abdomen mo bitaw ng karang baji nga kasag na daghang itlog anang yang abdomen mo na siya. Padong na siya mangitlog. Then, the eggs hatch in 2 to 4 weeks. The life cycle then begins again. Mato siya ang life cycle sa mud crab. Then, mao ni siya ang sexual dimorphism. Ang timailhan nga male mud crab siya is V-shaped flap. Then, ang female mud crab has a rounded flap on the bottom of its shell. Muna siya ang laki, V-shape, din ang baji, rakuan siya, silbing kibaling round or oval ba na. Then, next is the reproduction. The reproduction of the mangrove crabs depend on the levels of sexual maturity of the males. Since they must have sexually mature gonads, the ovulation of the females occur with a certain delay, with the purpose that they fit before than the gonads. The females can lay 100,000 eggs in a single period. The male transfer his sperm to the female by employing his sexual organs. Once they are adapted for fertilization, the females, on the other hand, carry the eggs until they are ready for being released. During the mating period, the female is quite defenseless because her shell is soft in that moment. For this reason, the copulation takes place at night. Then, in the safety of their burrow. In the same way than most crabs, the mating occurs just after the female has molted her exoskeleton or shell, because that is the time when her body is also more flexible. This process takes place in abandoned burrows after the male succeeds in subjecting the male and drag her to that place. Then next is the uses and importance. In ecological, they have been shown to be ecologically significant in many ways. They keep much of the energy within the forest by burying and consuming leaf litter, itong basura sa dahon, along with burrowing in the ground at high tide and in the face of predators. These crustaceans can climb trees to protect themselves. The hermit crab and the mangrove crab are the only crustaceans that can climb trees as a defense mechanism. Furthermore, their feces may form the basis of a corophagus food chain contributing to mangrove secondary production. Then, in economic, the mud crab is an economically very important species in its native range. It is most important crab for commercial culture in the Philippines and commands a high price in both the domestic and export markets. In addition to its social and economic importance, the mangrove crab is a keystone species in ecosystem. They playing an important role in the processes of nutrient cycling and energy transfer. Ito siya economic importance sa mud crab. Then, next is the status and trend in aquaculture and capture. There has been an increasing trend in mud crabs production during the last 2 decades up to 2008. The total production of mud crabs from aquaculture in Asia and Africa was over 138,000 tons, valued at nearly USD 377 million in 2008. With the establishment of hatcheries in some countries, worldwide mud crabs production is expected to continue to increase. To improve further the overall performance of mud crabs in captivity and to sustain the industry, the domestication of Scylla serrata has been initiated in the Philippines. The life cycle of Scylla has been closed, a requirement for a domestication program. Then the market and trade. Mud crabs are market live, except for soft shell crabs katong humukon nga shell. Mud crabs from farming or from the wild are sold to buying stations or traders, directly to consumers including seafood restaurants or to exporters. From the buying station of traders, the bulk of the crab stocks are sold to exporters. Prices, ang iyang presyo nagdepende sa season, ang Sa size, yang gidakon, ang sex, sayang baglaki and gonad maturity. The highest priced crabs are the mature females, with deep orange ovaries and fat immature or maturing females with yellow to light orange ovaries. Then the lowest price are the crabs that are lacking claws as well as ovigerous or lean crabs, which are usually marketed locally. Live mud crabs are exported to Hong Kong, Singapore, Republic of Korea, and Taiwan. For soft-shell crabs katong mga ang shell, the price depends on the size and condition of the crabs. The highest price are those that are greater than 200 grams. The lowest price are the crabs which lack chilipids kuwang og mga paak mo to say lowest price, regardless of their size, and those with slightly hardened shells. Soft shell crabs are marketed locally or exported to Hong Kong, Singapore, Republic of Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Europe, and the United States of America and Pacific Islands Trust territories. The cost ranges from USD 7.5 to 10.0 kilogram or 5 to 15 count. Then the threats: increasing marine pollution, habitat loss due to depleting mangrove forests, and overcatch have been contributing to the drop in mud crab or Scylla serrata population along the 350-kilometer long coast. Fishermen said motoy threat sa mud crab base sa base sa mga fishermen. Then, the laws governing or protecting the species. Fisheries Administrative Order Number 162, Series of 1986, with the subject Rules and Regulations governing the issuance of permit for the exportation of live mud crabs or alimango, Scylla serrata. So, that's all for my assigned topic. Thank you for listening and God bless.